Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Autoholics Anonymous, hosted by the Average Squad. I am J.R. Olive. We got
Lee Purvis,
Kurt Barnes,
and Andy Carter. I didn't let him say his name.
It's okay. I was still getting settled.
It's getting settled. And this is Autoholics Anonymous. I don't know.
We do car talk and car news, and then eventually do a little Craigslist gold. This is JR's 32nd time.
30-second episode introducing the show. And
hey y'all, for those listening, we the podcast.
Yes. Tonight's snack of choice is
garden veggie straws with a little sea salt.
From Sensible Portions.
Made by a company called Sensible Portions.
Literally anti-us.
which is what we did with the podcast. We used to do about an hour-long episode. Now we just give you a little
Sensible portion.
portion.
And I think people are upset.
Well,
Well, I don't know.
sometimes we put sea salt on the portion too.
yeah, we do get a little salty sometimes.
A little salty. So what's going on? What have we just been doing, Andy? Where
We
where
just
coming
got back from the Amelia Island Concours D'Elegance.
Concours D'Elegance.
Yes, that is
It's French.
pronounced in the French manner of speaking. So the Concours D'Elegance at Amelia Island is a competition?
It's a car.
It's a judged competition that happens actually on the Sunday, and it's a concours style competition. So basically, the idea is that you are restoring a car to its factory condition, and so.
Or it's like as raced.
Yes, if it's a race car, kind of as raced, and the idea is in that it is judged according to the standards or against other cars of its model, and so
Cars with provenance.
yes, these are very, very high end cars.
Limited run examples or
Most of them are one of one.
race cars with that one
Priceless.
important
like
races.
literally priceless.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a lot of like 50s Ferraris, kind of Porsche race cars from the 60s, cars with pedigree.
Pre-war Delahaye.
But in addition to the
Dibs band name.
yes, in addition to the actual competition on Sunday, a lot of they've sort of built this automotive destination around the weekend. So you have a lot of auctions going on. You have some car meets. You've got test drives.
Cars and coffee.
Yeah, a cars and coffee event. A lot of the car makers bring out kind of their latest models, so you can get to check those out.
If you're a longtime listener of the podcast, you've heard us talk about this event twice now.
Probably three
Yeah.
times.
This will be the third.
Yeah,
Third time.
and so it's a great time for us just to go and do some car spotting, and always get to see something that we've never seen before, which is always a blast. So Lee, what did you think was what was kind of your favorite car or favorite thing of the weekend?
My favorite car was probably, I spotted a 240D at the Cars and Coffee event that was like literally the exact same car as mine, just much, much cleaner. It was a shade lighter green. It was Caledonia green.
As opposed to just
green.
green.
Mine is just...
Didn't we? I thought we figured out that it is not just green, or is it just?
I've seen different sources. Some say green and some say reed green. But I'm going with just green because it's hilarious.
Just regular old green.
But I met the owner. He was super, super nice. It was a beautiful, beautiful car. And got to talking to him for a little bit or whatever. And he actually, a friend of his, had just sent him the article that you wrote on my car and posted on the Average Squad page. So it was kind of a cool small world moment. But, I mean, I didn't pay as much attention to the cars this year. I was just running around, just having a great time with my buds. But there's always just, it's overstimulation from cool stuff. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
It'll definitely leave you jaded when you leave. Every other car you see on the road is, well, just another car.
I mean, you're just walking through a parking garage and you see a Porsche 959, just parked there, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, I really think kind of my favorite part of the whole event is just the car spotting of stuff, seeing it on the road. I mean, these are people driving. I mean, there was somebody drove a Ferrari 250 SB or whatever, which is a $10 million car.
yeah.
And they drove it and just handed the keys to a valet, parked it in a garage, with other stuff.
And I think that's why none of us four ever pay to go in the actual show, which is on Sunday. I think it's like $75 or whatever, which is totally worth it. I mean, it's undoubtedly worth it. But we spend the whole weekend down there, and you can spot most of what you'd see in the show out around the premises if you're kind of smart and you pay attention. And that's kind of the fun in it, I think, for us, is that we still kind of treat it as more of like a car spotting endeavor versus just going to a show.
Right. So kind of interestingly, I had two kind of cars that really did it for me over the weekend. I really, really enjoyed getting to see the Lamborghini Countach that they had on display. It was a 1976 model, which is, if I say Countach, the car you're picturing is probably the 80s model, which has kind of the wide body fender flares, kind of the really big wing on the back.
Phone dial.
Yes, yeah, the phone dial 15 by 12s in the back. But the car actually was released in the 70s and without all of that on it. And so it was just the body, no fender flares, no wing, and it had 14-inch wheels.
Purple.
It was like a purple-blue color that was super nice. I actually also got to drive, Jaguar also does test drives the whole weekend, and I finally got to drive the new I-Pace, which is their all-electric car. And I know a lot of y'all don't care too much about electric cars, but this was my first one, and I was really excited to drive one. It has 395 horsepower and a little over 500 foot-pounds of torque.
I rode with him. It'll squall.
Does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, which is not crazy fast, but it's also not a small car.
It weighs it's like 4,500 pounds.
And the torque, I mean, I've heard people talk about the electric car torque, and it is just nuts, like how much pull it has.
It doesn't feel right. I mean,
is that
it feels real right, but
is that the first
right.
electric car you've driven?
It is, yeah. That's the first.
Okay.
Yeah. I have not driven. I've driven plenty of hybrids, but had not driven a pure electric yet. And it's going to be a little disappointing in the sense that like the electrics I'll be able to afford will not be that.
I don't know, man. I think honestly, I drove I've driven an i3 and I've driven a Bolt, and they're hilariously fun. Like probably more low end torque than the numbers. Are one thing, but the seat of your pants feel in any of them, even like a base electric vehicle, is going to be incredible. I'm sure it's not going to be as potent as the I-Pace, but
there's just no delay.
There's just
zero delay.
And obviously there's no transmission, so it's not like, oh, I'm at the right gear, I'm at this or that. It's just like dead silent, and you just mat the pedal, and you're pushing you back in your seat, like that whole feeling. And it is the opposite of rowdy. Like it's not, which is maybe a fault if
that
if
degenerate
you like
braking or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we turn on the
regenerative braking was on like light when we got in the car, and then right at the end you like turned it up to full, and it was like
when you let off
on the brakes.
when you let off the gas, it is literally like your body's going forward. Anyway, I thought it was really, really cool. I enjoyed driving it. I look forward to owning an electric car someday. But I also want to keep my gas cars. But for daily driving, I'd like to have one.
What was your favorite stuff?
My favorite car, I got to throw out to the Countach also, because I walked up and saw that, and it was like, hey, wow. Because it was like the original. But I think my favorite was the in the Sotheby's auction. It was a Ferrari 250 GT Cabriolet. It was an early 60s car, dark blue, real pretty car. It did not sell, though, so it's still for sale if anybody wants to.
What was
throw
it
some
expected to
cash my
sell
way.
at?
$1.5 million.
Okay. That's
Which also
reasonable as heck.
The Countach was for sale also from Going Motors, I think the company it was. It's $1,095,000.
This is a lot of money.
For a car that's kind of terrible.
Another cool thing was Mercedes-Benz had a restored 300 SL and a barn find 300 SL.
Yeah,
they were sequential serial numbers.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. That's
very cool to
see
because you get kind of the both ends of the spectrum.
It was a 1960 Ferrari 250 GT Cabriolet. And and this one had the hardtop with it. So think of a 60s convertible with a full hardtop that you can remove.
I bet a Ferrari hardtop is worth more than all of the cars I've ever owned combined.
Honestly, it's got to be.
Was that one out back?
It was out back of the Ritz.
Yeah, it had that hardtop looks like garbage.
Yeah. Well, hey.
They should have just taken that. Like, it would have sold if they'd have taken the hardtop
could have
off.
designed it better.
I know. I didn't say that.
I bet a S2000 hardtop is worth more than all of my cars combined.
That's actually true. I was going to say, yeah, Ferrari hardtop is worth more than all of my cars combined, but yeah, I'm sure a Ferrari hardtop costs $2,000.
Yeah.
Which, it's still true.
JR, what'd you like?
I gotta say that while I think I had some of the most fun I've had on a concourse trip in the last couple of years, there wasn't a particular car that really jumped out at me.
Just doesn't do it for you.
It just doesn't do it for me. But no, like last year, it was probably going to be about the same story, but then we found those 2000 GTs that were owned by... was that last year or the year before?
Last couple of years. Yeah.
Adam Carolla. Well, one was at one time. They were part of the Adam Carolla collection. No, it was year before last.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. When you go to this is our 14th year.
14th, yeah.
Going, me and Andy, and you start to see a lot of the I'm not trying to sound.
You're very jaded. I mean, it's easy to get jaded when you see it.
Right. I mean, like, I've been seeing, and like, when you're in this crowd of people and cars and whatever, you start to, even if it's not the exact same car, like, and Lee, like you're saying, like, you notice the little, like, if I walk by a 300 SL now, I'm just like, that's cool, and I can appreciate it, and I like it. I enjoy everything. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy, I mean, everything I saw was interesting, except for the hundreds of Corvettes.
It's just like...
But, like, I probably don't stop long enough to look at two 300 SLs sitting next to each other to get the story about whether they're sequential serial number. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. That one's obviously dirty. Like,
and it's literally like overstimulation. Like, I walked past cars that were like one of one, pedigreed, incredible, like $20 and $30 million cars, and didn't bat an eye at it. And it's like fun. You read about it later,
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is like I have friends that this is their second year going.
Like watching Raul go around for his first time was like amazing because he literally took 400 phone pictures. He took a picture of every single car.
And they know the stories to every single car. And I'm always like, oh crap, I didn't even know that because I'm just like, when are we going to go get a cheeseburger? Because I've seen the 10 Ferraris, and I'm not at all saying that it's not a fun event, but it's like absolutely. when you've gone so many times, like I'm not. It's not as about the cars.
Like I remember when
per se.
I remember the first 5 or 6 times certainly, like seeing a Veyron in person, or any car that's like crazy carbon fiber or like any of that stuff is just like amazing. But like what happens is, especially I will say, Cars and Coffee this year, I just was like.
No, I get you. I was let down.
There was a lot of Corvettes,
like club cars.
I thought Cars and Coffee was pretty good this year, and I didn't even go to the full thing.
I just didn't see that much interesting stuff.
And I don't like it because I didn't like it because the variety was real hard to find.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a huge Porsche contingency, a huge Mercedes contingency, and a huge Corvette contingency, and then like
that was pretty much
a sprinkle of
other
stuff all mixed in with that.
And it's the same people coming. Like it's that same NSX on Works, a supercharged.
It's that same Miata with the pink valve cover, and
the perfect CRX, and it's all great stuff. But like, and I will say, Caffeine and Octane has ruined us
to Cars and Coffee type events.
To Cars and Coffee, because I mean,
Caffeine and Octane's almost ruined itself.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fair. But yeah, I'm with JR, but it's some of my favorite times are literally just like when we're sitting at Tasties, which is like the local burger place, and you're sitting at like this perfect intersection, and there's just cars coming by the entire time.
Right, because you don't have to seek out the variety.
And you get surprised because you'll like hear something behind you, you're like, holy crap, what's that? And you turn around and
I think it was last year we were like looking at, we were experiencing Concours, we were looking at these cars all day, and like Concours is literally like when you're at the event, like an XJR 15 Jaguar will drive by you and you'll be like, oh, cool. But like when we were in like downtown Fernandina Beach and we saw that Toy Story truck, and we all kind of like freaked out because it was just so random and cool versus seeing, you'll literally see probably 5 300 SL Gold Wings.
right.
And that's a rare car. That's $1 million car.
Yeah.
But, you're just so desensitized to it that, one time we saw a Pontiac Sunrunner and was just like freaked out because it's,
You just never see.
Which
It's ultimately, it's cool to see stuff out of context.
Yeah.
Which originally, when we went to Concours, it was like us seeing anything was out of context because it's like, why are there Bugattis everywhere? Why is everything cost more than $300,000? And now it's harder. Like you have to get, like it's become such a crazy event. You have to get away from the event to see something out of context.
And this, like what we talked about coming back, we saw some guys that had the right idea, and we're kind of putting that as an idea for next year. We're going to bring some lawn chairs and set up outside the event and just
Kinda
watch
just
cars
tailgate,
roll
like,
by.
Yeah, like Andy was
Yeah.
saying, like instead of just going to a restaurant, like we could just tailgate,
Bring a
them,
cooler
tailgate
of
on
beer
the
and-
corner,
yeah,
and
just-
like
That's
I think the Cars in Motion is
what you
Well,
want.
50%
we
of
were
it
coming.
anyway.
We were coming back. I don't know. We were doing a car shuffle, and we were coming back into the area of the events. And what's in our rear view mirror? A brand new Ford GT, cruising in, a
Which is
couple
awesome,
miles behind it. But of course, we can't get a good look at it because we're driving the Audi.
Right.
And,
And if you, like, literally the best time to do that is like late Saturday afternoon because they clear out. So they hold the Concours event on the same green that they do the Cars and Coffee event. So, like, all the Cars and Coffee stuff clears out and is driving around. And then they're bringing in all the one-of-one, type supercars and stuff like that. Like, I've always wanted to see an F40. I've never seen one in person. And, of course, there was one driving around that we missed because, we were in the car or we were, out or whatever.
Right.
But you can see, like, that's the thing. Seeing everything driving is probably the coolest.
Yeah.
And like hearing it because like I think when you're around these cars, like when you're at the auction, it's such like a high class event. You don't get the feel of the cars because like when these cars crank up, especially the race cars, they're insane. Like the noises they put out and the idea of multiple cars running together would be like such a visceral event.
We're not talking, like a modern race car. These are Porsche 917s, 427 Cobras,
Safety
Ford
wire.
GTs.
Yeah.
Like these are
things with safety wire.
Yeah, these are no jokes.
From the factory
Seriously,
safety
like,
wire.
rattle your brains out loud kind of cars, and the smells and the seeing a guy in his 80s drive a 917 on full slicks in wet grass. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
that's untouchable.
And that's what so like for me this year, and it's usually like this, but there's something, we'll run across something random that kind of jumps out there. And there wasn't that one moment, like I know Lee, like you had the moment with the McLaren LM.
the McLaren F1 LM a couple years ago that literally just like pulled out
drove
from
by,
the side
like
road
we
and
just didn't.
blitzed
It just
past
didn't
us.
happen. It just didn't happen for me this year. But that's fine. I mean, I had a great time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
definitely be
I
back
want to
next
know
year.
one specific one real quick before we transfer. The LFA. What did that do for you?
Oh yeah, the LFA was real cool. It was like a Nürburgring edition, so
Yeah.
it had like canards and some extra carbon fiber stuff. So it was like 900. It was supposed to try to bring like 950,000.
I think it did. I think it went for $1 million actually.
Like, and I just that's sometimes it's hard because like I don't think LFAs are incredible, and like I wish like I see some of that technology is trickled down and stuff, and that's cool, but like I don't think those are $1 million cars.
Nah. But Supras aren't $175,000 cars either.
Yeah, Mark IV Supra sold for 170.
170.
We'll save that for
Andy's
another.
gonna have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, we'll save that for another podcast. So for the Craigslist Gold tonight, we kind of kept it a little bit fun, and we are. I tasked the guys in finding the perfect kind of guys road trip Concours vehicle. So the vehicle that we would take down to Concours.
Usually that's how we define the trip.
Yeah,
Like, for
is the-
years, Andy and I were like, what that was the we were trying to remember what year what happened, and it was like that was the year we took the Jeep, or that was the year we took.
We've taken a Jeep. We've taken a few of my Hondas.
We took my truck one year.
We've taken the F-250. We've taken an Escalade one time, and then we've taken my parents' Odyssey for the past few times.
I've always wanted to take an old Benz, but I can't keep one running long enough.
Yeah. So, Jr., what's your Concours trip vehicle? And $10,000 was our spending limit.
Well, luckily I'm right there, but I didn't see that requirement. But I will just say that it is important. Concours is like Lord of the Rings, where the quest is really what it's all about.
Yes.
So my vehicle is a 1990 Toyota van.
Okay.
This is an import. It's a light Ace. So it has lots of windows in the ceiling.
Is that the one being sold by ATL JDM? It's incoming.
This one is in Palm Bay.
Okay.
So this has 115,000 miles. It's a 4-cylinder gas motor with a 5-speed manual. It is 4-wheel drive. But the most important thing is, to me, is it being a light Ace. It has like the ceiling has,
Ooh, yeah.
a bunch of windows. It's like a tall roof, a bunch of windows. Plus it's got it's on general grabbers.
Ooh. Like that.
So it's just cool.
How much is that?
10,000.
Okay.
It's AC works, clean Florida title because Florida,
Yeah.
and even though it's 28 years old, so. But it's in really great shape, and it's a manual, and it's a van, and it's 4-wheel
it's
drive.
a manual too.
Yeah, it's got checkerboard floor mats and interior.
That's are those seats facing the opposite way? Like it's at party style?
The seats kind of do weird stuff. Like you can fold them flat like a bed. Like it has 3 rows of seating.
Okay.
But you can kind of fold them down, and they sort of line up with the seats in the
cool.
back. But yeah, it's cool. It would be comfortable. To me, it's about comfort and
Being different.
yeah. So the seat, you can mount the seats side.
Yeah.
It's configurable.
That's rad. Lee, what you got?
So my pick, and this is in California, so it's in like San Diego, but it's an '82 Suburban with a 6.2 liter diesel,
Okay.
with a Banks turbo and exhaust, and it's been 5-speed swapped,
Oh.
and it's 4-wheel drive. So
Barn doors in the back.
Oh yes, it does have barn
That
doors
is-
in the
okay.
back.
Okay.
And
All right.
it's like a dark red with menstrual red interior,
Okay.
and it needs a stock grill. It's got a billet grill with crossbones, because of course. But other than that, it's not so bad. It's actually a pretty nice looking truck. But this is the square body. For those of you who aren't familiar, but yeah, it's $6,250.
Not bad.
I know exactly what that car smells like.
Yep.
I know what I can smell that car right now.
But my thing is yes, the journey is important, and this has enough room for like whatever. It has enough room for all of us, and it doesn't have actually. Hold on. Yeah, I think it does have third row. I can't tell, but anyway, the pictures are kind of nondescript. It doesn't say anything about AC, so it probably doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't work.
Nope.
But it says it gets 16 to 18 miles to the gallon, which for probably a 7,500-pound truck is
not terrible.
not bad. And the noises and the smoke and all that stuff would probably be pretty fun.
I don't know. Not without AC. Kurt.
And gas mileage is something to take into
Kurt,
consideration.
what you got?
The gas mileage is good. That's what I'm saying.
I kind of went the same direction, and
not
I
as
went
good
with
as yours.
Suburban.
Okay.
But I found a 1968 Suburban.
For under 10 grand?
Yes, it's 9,900, which is funny because I swear earlier when I pulled this car up, it was 85.
What color?
It is silver. It's been painted. It's blacked out wheels. Yeah, it's been modded. However, it's still, when it comes to gas mileage, straight 6, 292. Imagine that in
10
that big
miles
old
to the
truck.
gallon.
A dog.
It's third row seating.
Is it a 3-door?
It's a 3-door.
Oh.
Yep. It's a 3-door, and I thought I actually liked that. I was like, hey, that's
That's
pretty
what,
cool.
That's what you
actually,
want with
right
those.
there.
67 and 68 were the best front
Yeah,
ends. Too.
and it's
absolutely.
a great looking truck, and this one really is more just about the
Does it run?
look. Yeah,
Well,
this is more about
you
the us
want to
driving.
you want to get attention with whatever you're driving.
and this would get attention. Parking would be a bit of a bear, because it's a Suburban.
But
we're gonna find a place to park that anywhere we go down there.
Hey, yeah, it'll park
It's-
over the van
but
goes. Yeah.
like. And again, this would be a windows down. Look at us cruising around Amelia
Leather
kind of thing.
seats though, and no AC.
All right,
Talking about
guys, we-
peeling thigh meat off the dang bench seat.
So no AC.
Yeah, no AC.
All right,
It just doesn't say anything about
all right,
it.
guys.
Sure it
I got
doesn't.
a 1993 VW Eurovan MV. Whoa, thumbs down already.
No,
Originally from Southern California, 7-seater camper van with table and folding bed, so Raul can sleep in there. 5-speed manual transmission, low mileage, 115,000. Window has a small crack. Fender has a little bit of rust, but AC works good. New timing belt.
Is
All
it
that
on
stuff.
bags?
It's not on bags, but it is teal. It also has a rebuilt title.
Is this on Bring a Trailer?
No, it's Craigslist in Atlanta. Huh. And it is
Probably this van.
it is $6,500.
that's not. Whoa. What engine did you say it had?
5-cylinder
Oh,
is what it says. I don't know what it
2.5 inline 5.
is. Is it a diesel? It's not diesel. Is
no, that wouldn't be a diesel.
it?
They make good.
So I
noise.
mean, it's kind of cool. It's not as cool as JR's.
I will say unabashedly that I think I won. Because people would stop and look at a light ace.
Would Concours
People would stop and
people?
look at
Yeah,
Euro van too.
Would
I mean-
Concours people stop
No,
and look at
Yeah,
that?
yes,
though?
absolutely.
I
Yes.
think Kurt's got it. A 68 Suburban that's like clean, black
Nah.
steel wheels with hubcaps.
Everything
Like, that's a
about
looker.
everything about those two Suburbans is what isn't cool about Cars and Coffee. Like
No, I totally understand
your
you.
Uncle Buck getting up at 6:30 and going to Crystal with his buds and talking about Chevy 350s and then driving y'all's Corvettes with your matching Corvette jackets down to Cars and Coffee at Concours D'Elegance is
You
what I
acting
don't
like-
what I
I
don't
know.
like about
You
the
Yeah,
acting
event.
like you don't want to eat crystals and drive Corvettes.
The guy that brought his 2004 Escalade to Cars and Coffee is the bad part. A 68 Suburban's cool,
Yeah, it is, but
without the AC,
we're talking practicality here.
Yeah, but you're also it's Florida in March. Like it doesn't get that
It
that
has
hot.
been hot
yeah.
at Concours.
But
It
this
is-
past
it's a
year
crapshoot.
was-
No,
This past
yeah.
year
It is a
was
crap
perfect.
sure. This past year, sure. I still think that JR's van would get more attention.
Ooh, that's tough.
I do too.
Certainly more than yours. Maybe not Kurt's.
Well, that's fine. Okay, I'll take the loss. Andy. You ain't got to drive it home.
I'm discounting mine. I'll take the loss, but I'm just saying I think JR's would be cool.
Literally, because it's got AC.
And the sun.
And we can hard park it because it's got 4-wheel drive.
lots of windows.
Yeah, nice natural
We could park
light.
in the Palmettos.
Configure
In the Palmettos.
in the Palmettos. Really,
I just read
Really-
my pick seats 9 people.
That's too many people.
really, the perfect vehicle is a white work truck spec Silverado with
Towing a genie.
any kind of sticker. Yeah, any kind of sticker you want to put on the
Yeah,
side
you
because
need
that
to
means you can
pull.
park
You
anywhere.
need to have a lull.
I seriously
Green
thought
or
about that earlier. Get a van and put something like Amelia Utilities on the side and just pull in wherever we want with a yellow light.
Quantum Dynamics,
Yes.
amber strobe on.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I think. Wait, who are you voting for? Kurt?
I'm voting for Kurt.
Kurt, who are you voting for?
Man.
You know, Kurt. Just think about where. Just think. Put yourself in the actual vehicle.
Or pick somebody who also picked a Suburban and squad the heck up.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to vote for myself, but I still think it's going to go to JR because I think Andy's going with him.
What? No, but Lee
that means
voted
it's a
for
tie.
you. So
Yeah,
it is
but
a tie.
Oh, it's a tie. Oh.
So
wow.
let us know. Light Ace or 68 Suburban.
Check out the pictures online before you vote.
All right. See y'all later.